I am planting some fruit trees today. It's getting towards the end of April, and this is a plum tree that I bought bare root that's grown locally up in northern Idaho, in my area. I think it's really important. I lost a lot of trees over the last couple of years because they weren't grown locally, and they were from Washington. I think some of them did okay, but most did not. So that's what I'm working on today, is replanting the ones that died. So I'm just going to show you like some of the things that I do to protect my trees from the voles and moles and all the underground squirrels. But the things that I mix into this hole that I'm digging, which you want to make it, I think, like 3 times the size of the root ball, is I add peat moss and bone meal and manure if I have it, and definitely some really good soil. But the soil here, you can kind of tell it's pretty good. So I'll also probably add some vermiculite or perlite just to help keep the soil from compacting and also to hold the moisture in. But I'm going to put a metal mesh, like chicken wire, in this hole to keep the voles from eating the root system, because when they logged here a couple of years ago, I didn't have any of those underground squirrels or rodents and things, but they logged on that northeast side of my property, and when they did that, all those little creatures came here for safety. And so yeah, they're everywhere, and they love to eat tree roots among other things. So that's what I would suggest, is that you use the chicken wire, and I'll show you how I do that. So you want the hole for your fruit trees, or any tree, to be 3 times as deep as the root ball and 3 times the width. And then it will have, especially if the ground is hard, my ground's pretty soft here, thankfully, but it just helps the tree to be able to expand its root system a whole lot easier, and you can get a lot of amended nice soil in there. So next I'm gonna cut this wire and fit it into that hole. I see there's some ground squirrel holes down about 2.5 feet. It's amazing how far down they go. So anyway, it's a really good idea to wear gloves and maybe even a long sleeve shirt, because this stuff is not nice. It likes to scratch you up pretty good. Now I'm going to show you my top secret technique for getting this wire in the hole. I center the wire over the hole, and then here's what I do next. It's kind of a ways down there. That works good for me. Gets it in there quickly. So now I've kind of molded it around in there a little bit. I don't get too fancy with it. You don't need to. But I am now ready to just start mixing the soil. I'm going to add these amendments, the peat moss and perlite, bone meal. And I might truck down to get some manure and put in this hole also. And I'll just mix it up in that hole mostly, and then some in the wheelbarrow. About that much soil, and then put some peat moss in there. And they say about 2 cups, 1 to 2 cups of bone meal for new plantings. But these are pretty big trees. So I'm going to add probably a little bit more than that. I'll probably put in 2 cups. But yeah, I just sprinkle in maybe half cup every now and then and stir it in. Kind of like baking a cake. Only different. Good enough job? What do you think about that, girl? Does it look okay? Is it hole deep enough? You like it? Well, let's get growing a new apple tree right there. Okay. If you're planting the tree by yourself, you might have to get inventive about how you hold that tree in place so it's straight while you get the dirt in the hole. That's what I've come up with so far. Oh, look what I found. A long lost buried bone. Nevada, look what I got for you. Treasure. There's the treasure. Come on. I got the bone for you. Look at this, girl. Did you bury that there? Ooh, we better go rinse it off. You want to rinse it off? Okay, the tree's planted. It's a good size apple tree. And I really flood it. I really give it a lot of water. I've got it all tamped in just using my feet, and now it's, I'll flood this and I'll let it sit. You can see it's going down some sort of hole right there. So probably another rodent hole. But you want to come back and give it another good douse of water just so it can really set it down in there and get it off to a good start. When you get these trees bare root, it's important to keep them wet. I put them in this little pond thing until you get them planted. So I've got some lilacs in here too. I'm getting ready to plant those next. So yeah, planting peaches, pears, and apples, lilacs, and asparagus right now. It's a workout. So I realized that I have a really bad rodent problem, so my lilacs, I went ahead and brought the wire all the way over the top so the rodents can't go down underneath there. And then I planted a peach tree and decided to do the same thing with it. Here's a plum that's getting ready to bloom. It's going to be a good year this year. Lots of blossoms coming on everything. I just got through planting this peach tree, and this time instead of just putting the wire around the bottom and around the sides of the root ball, I decided to go over the top too, because the rodent problem, I have a really bad rodent problem. I didn't realize how bad it was until I've been out here working, and everywhere I walk the ground just caves in because there's so many tunnels from the rodents. And so anyway, I decided to do this because they might be just on top of the ground and just dive in there and eat the roots that way. So I'm going to protect this tree more than I've protected most of the things I've planted, because I have had loss, and I don't want to keep losing trees. It's too much work and too much money to keep losing trees. This is my best apple tree, and it's just getting ready to go. It produces quite a bit every year. One thing that you probably noticed here is I have this pipe going in the ground. So that's just a way that you can deep water your tree. If you cut like a section of pipe that's about 2 feet long, and I put it down in there, and then I can fill that up with water just to get it way down in there, which might not be real necessary until it's a little older. It's just something that I've been doing on about maybe half of my trees. So I'm not sure if it helps a lot, but I try to do everything that I can just to make sure I have some success.